Hi, small group leaders. We're preparing for February 24th with 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade leaders. Thank you for leading and for giving extra time and energy to be here regularly with your kiddos. I'm beginning to see the fruit of for those of you who've been with us for a little while, of the time that you have spent with them. And this week we get to talk about the value of small group leaders and the value of what we do here at Parkway Church to help build relationships that build disciples. And you're going to see why. Partially, we feel like this is the way to do it, but also I think that God desires for us to be in relationship with each other to build, to help build each other up. So our Bible story this week is called Jethro Helped Moses. Moses is in the desert with the Israelites, and as the Israelites are prone to do, they are grumbling and they're bringing all of their requests to Moses and asking Moses to take care of everything. So-and-so didn't take care of my cow. What am I going to do, Moses? You know, all of those kind of things, and everything comes to Moses. And so his father-in-law, Jethro, comes and says, hey, why don't we try to divide up some of these tasks? Why don't we try to make it to where you don't have to be the one that answers all of it? Surely there's other people that can do parts of what you do. And that way you are left to do the things that you can do best. So to me, that is the perfect example of what we are doing in small groups. You guys are on the front line building the relationships with the kids, not because I can't, but because there's no possible way I can have a personal relationship with every single kid. There's not a possible way that Mike could have a personal relationship, Pastor Mike could have a personal relationship with everybody who attends Parkway Church. So we are helping build the church by helping you guys be the leaders within the church. And so thank you for doing that and being here consistently to do that. There is value in what you do, and you are not just here to check off a box or to make me happy. I am very happy with what you are doing, but I hope that's not your main motivation for being here, that you truly desire to help kids build relationships so that they can know and have a personal relationship with God and Jesus. So your social activity for this series, you have a 5-second rule game. And I don't know if you've tried to play a 5-second rule game before. It's a little bit challenging, but I think the kids are going to have fun with it. So what you're going to do is designate someone to be in the hot seat. And that person will get the first chance to answer a question on a card. And the person to their left will read the question, or if you want to be the reader, feel free to do that. However you want to do that part doesn't matter as much. And so what they do is they have 5 seconds to give as many answers, or like there's different things. The first question is name 3 reasons to jump. And so within 5 seconds, they have to give you 3 reasons. And then after that person, if they completed it, they can put a tally mark on their on the orange card for the score, or you can help keep score, or you can get one of your kids to help keep score for each kid. And then the person next to them has to answer the same question in 5 seconds, but they cannot give the same answers as anybody else around the table. And it continues around until everybody at the table has answered the same question. Now, that's where things get really challenging. First off, you have to pay attention to the person giving the answers, and then everybody else has to be really creative in how they answer those questions. And as you can imagine, the further down the line you get, the harder this gets. If you want to shorten it a little bit and only make it where 3 people play per question, you can do that. That's fine. We want kids to interact with each other. We want it to be fun. So you could shorten the game and make that happen. Then we'll move into large group. And after large group, we will do a small group. And today you're going to get the chance to practice being the kids are going to get the chance to practice being kind of like a small group leader. So I know many of you guys have great discussions within your small group. And what you're going to do is take your butcher paper, and on one side of the paper, you're going to write good idea. And on the other side of the paper, you're going to write bad idea. And then you're going to go through some scenarios and write them based on what the kids say at the table, whether that's a good idea or a bad idea. So you can do that one of two ways. You can designate one person to be the answerer, and they get to tell you whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. Or you could take a vote from everybody, because there's a chance that on some of these things, somebody's going to think it's a good idea and somebody's going to think it's a bad idea. Now, you and I both know that there are going to be kids that are going to answer the opposite of everybody always. But maybe you want to challenge them this time as they are answering the opposite to help spark a good discussion. It could become a debate, but let's call it a discussion. And if you wanted to set it up more in a debate format, where the person who keeps answering adversely or on the other side of where most everybody answers has to give their points, and everybody else has to decide, are those valid points? You can make it into a game. Make sure that if you do make it into a game, that the kid doesn't feel ostracized or put down because they choose to answer differently. Try to validate answers as much as possible and help kids have a voice. We don't want to shut things down, but we all know that there's a few of those kids that do that just to get attention. And so let's give them their due attention and see if we can help soften and help get a little bit more serious at times. Now, some of the questions are not serious, so they don't have to be serious the whole time. Then your memory verse activity, you're going to have some basketball goals set up around the room. There'll be one for each grade level, and kids are supposed to try to make a basket with their little tiny basketballs. They're about the size, well, they're a little bit smaller than a tennis ball, our little basketballs are. And I'm going to put this little disclaimer in there. I'm not trying to protect our stuff, but I had to order these things online, and so it wouldn't be quick to get a whole nother set of basketball if it gets destroyed within the first few weeks. And so ask the kids to try to be gentle and not crush the basketball goal. It is just a little one. That's kind of why we set it up the way we set it up, so that it's easier for you. Also, we can't leave basketball goals up around all week because our rooms get used by every single ministry that meets at Parkway Church. So that is how your memory verse challenge will go. They'll make a basket, then they can say a word or a phrase from the memory verse, and just supposed to be fun for the kids, talking about March Madness coming up in a few weeks. And then you can pray and hang out with your kids until church lets out and the parents come to pick them up. We really want for parents to see that we are interacting with their kids, that you are being the Jethros and the judges and all of the other people, that their relationship is not with me, their relationship is not with the room, that we are building relationships with each other. So that's why I ask for you guys to stay in small groups as long as possible. Now, I know Pastor Mike has been long-winded lately, and so on the days where he is over, I completely understand letting kids have a little bit of free time, but as long as parents are beginning to see that we're building relationships with their kids, that's why I try to put a stop to ball throwing and those kind of things, because I want for parents to see that we spent time with their kids. All right. If you need me for anything, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you so much for leading and building relationships that build disciples.